Things like emotional acting should be things still found in Nollywood in 2025. I mean, emotional acting in the aspect of casting people based on relationship and based on emotions, or probably they've done you well, they've put you in the film in the time past, and it's high time to pay them back by casting. I think a proper casting should be based on this person is fit, haven't gone through a proper audition, and at the end of this person is fit into the role that is being envisaged by the director or by the producer at large. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we do movie reviews and give you all the gist of the entertainment industry, the movie industry, the music industry, and the skit industry, everything pertaining to entertainment at large. And today we'll be reviewing the movie Oversabi Aunty. It is one of the most anticipated movie of the season, and it is produced and directed by Toyin and also directed by her. And without further ado, let's get right straight into the synopsis. Oversabi Aunty is a story of Adito, a self-righteous religious woman obsessed with fixing others' life and pointing out others' sin and unholy lifestyle and teaching the best way to live holy life, but forget to fix her family and children. Things went south for her when she discovered that her ideal perfect family wasn't the ideal perfect family. Oversabi Aunty garnered the theme of morals and societal vices, a tragic comedy produced and directed by Toyin. One of the things that I like about Oversabi Aunty is the profound message. We are not going to leave out the fact that the message is clear, the message of people not to be self-righteous, the message of fix your life before trying to fix people, the message of morals doesn't die, the message of do not overdo, the message of do not overplay your role. The message is profound, the message is simple, the message is very straight to the point, and for anybody that was in the cinema, or they would get the message of how you shouldn't overplay your role and you shouldn't judge people, because it could be your turn. If it is your turn, you would not, it is always an ideology of you could do better or you could have handled it better if it was not you. So I think the message is profound, of which I like. There's one thing that is centered to Toyin Abraham's film is the choice of crisp camera. I must say, I've watched her work in the last 4 years of her dropping movies in the cinema every December, and one thing is centered to her: the usage of good cameras in her production. Nobody's going to deny the fact that she uses one of the best camera, because at the end of the day, her picture quality are always top notch, and it is kudos to her, for the consistency in giving us a good picture, because what is a good story without a better and a crisp picture? And kudos to Toyin Abraham for being consistent in giving us a quality camera picture. Toyin Abraham's movie is one of those movies that we constantly expect during the end of the year, and is one of the seasonal film. I mean, the Christmas and the festive period films, and she has been serving us over the years, and she's known for the consistency, and Oversabi Aunty happens to be the film that she served us this year. Tried her efforts. He made a whole lot of effort to bring in the Yoruba culture and also the Igbo culture, displaying the unity and displaying the versatility of Nigeria in the aspect of culture, practices, and beliefs. And I think these are one of the things that I like about the film. She went out of her way displaying the beauty of Igbo culture and the reality of the coexistence of two different ethnic groups marrying together, and also the possibility of conflict, and also the possibility of differences in beliefs and in practices and in what each tribes holds. And I think it's beautiful to see. The things that I don't like about this film is the unnecessary casting. I can mention up to 10 casts in this film that were unnecessary or completely waste of casting. Casts like Aminatu Papapa, cast like Damilola Oni. The whole scene of the first Togri scene, was completely unnecessary. It was just as if, the director just wanted those people to be there because they just want to be there, because it does not contribute to the success of the film. When I mean success of this film, a film is a journey, and at the end of the day, if a particular scene does not contribute to the ending, then it is completely unnecessary. Because and there's some cast that was completely unnecessary. This film is a total error when it comes to casting, and I must say, because most of the cast were completely off balance, especially the husband of Ngozi Ozono. Everybody knows that man to be a younger man, if not younger than Ngozi Ozono, and if it was like a younger man that was not known before, it is not, or is not a popular face in Nollywood, then it would have fly. But everybody knows the age of this man, and now coming to be the father of a young man, also coming to be wife of an older woman, Ngozi Ozono, is completely fallacious when it comes to this casting. An older man from the east, the popular older man from the east, would have sufficed. Maybe Chiweta Luagu. There are numbers of them in the east that would have fitted for the role, but using that man as a wife to Ngozi Ozono, and everybody knows this man is a young man, is completely off the radar when it comes to this casting, and it is one of the errors of the casting of this film. One of the major things that threw me off was the very first 15 minutes of this film. For the very first 2-3 scenes or 5 scenes of this film, I was completely thrown out of balance. I did not know what was going on. It was a complete rancor. It was complete shouting. Too many unnecessary scenes in this movie. I can count up to 5 scenes that were very, very unnecessary and does not contribute to the success of this movie. And it brings me to the fact that why does Toyin always like to inculcate very unnecessary scenes, most especially some scenes that involves comic relief and that does not contribute to the success of this film, or scenes like fighting scenes that was very, very unnecessary. And if this 2025, I like I said earlier, and we should be intentional about every scenes of every movie. Every scene should inculcate or should contribute to the success of this film. It should not be a situation whereby a scene was just infused because we just wanted to laugh. If a scene was going to be infused, then there should be another scene preceding that particular scene, not just a complete cutout for a comic relief. It is not completely okay in 2025. The major issues that I have with this film is emotional casting. I might be wrong, but I feel there was too many emotional casting, and of course, observing over the years how Toyin casting pattern has always been the fact that she likes to cast people that she's used to, regardless of if they are going to fit in or they are going to perform excellently well in the roles that they are about to be, they're about to feature in. Oftentimes she has always been that kind of person who likes to cast people from the Yoruba industry, regardless of if they are going to perform, or the pattern or the strategy of bringing old people or old faces that have been seen in a while in Nollywood. And I think that strategy needs to stop, or rather, if that strategy is going to be in place, those people that she's going to risk her film for should be able to perform excellently well in the roles that she's going to put them. Honestly, this thing has been frequent in most of her movies, where she casts people that are not completely fit for the roles, and it needs to stop, because it is one of the things that is drawing back our movie production, and that is drawing back the total performance of the film. Honestly speaking, I have nothing against Enioluwa. I have nothing against his craft, but him being on this movie was complete error and unnecessary. There are a lot of actors from Nollywood that would fit in perfectly into this role, that would deliver the role excellently well. Enioluwa's character was a livid person, a bitter person, a quick to anger person, and someone who is aggressive. But naturally, Eniola is not an aggressive person. And if he's not an aggressive person, if he's to come into the action of being aggressive, then he should have delivered well. But on the contrary, in this film, the whole ideology painted by the director of him to be aggressive, to be rude, and to be unnecessarily angry at unnecessary time was completely in contrast to his behavior in this movie. It is very laughable, especially in the scene where he and Jemima went to see a movie, and one of the staff pour water on his body, and the reaction there was completely laughable. Everybody in the cinema all saw it, and we could see the boiling and the anger and a lot of issues from people in the cinema and how they were disappointed on how that reaction was. It could have been done better by someone who is more experienced in acting and not just based on emotions, because I totally know that casting him for that role was based on emotion and based on relationship. The things that I do not like about this film is Jemima Osunde's character was not properly developed. For someone that is the girlfriend of Eniola in this film, we would want the character to be more developed. The only thing that was peculiar to her was that she had an auntie that we did not really know, that told the story of the fact that the mother of Jemima died 2 years ago, and she's been in her care. The auntie has been in her care, and moving forward, the next thing, just 2 scenes of them being together and scenes of when she died, and that was it. I think for a character that was very very profound, I think a better development and a better scenes, or more scenes of her, or more scenes of them being together would have made more sense, or would have established the story and made the story a good one. But it was lost on this film, and I think it would have been better if an extensive expansion was done to Jemima's character. Also, there were a lot of lags in the character of Eniola. There were flashbacks of when his mother shot him off, his mother doesn't listen to him, and it brings me to the questions: was those past, or was those his experience the reason why he became agitated, or became the reason why he became unruly? Was that the reason why he became badly behaved? These are questions that should have been answered in this film, and the idea of him being badly behaved was not properly expatiated, because I was really hoping for him to have been agitated towards other people. It was just only one scene where he was poured water and he terribly displayed that part, and it is very laughable. And there could have been more scenes where his character was more narrowed down and more expatiated, based on the fact that the whole means justified his end. It could have been more established. There are so many errors in this film, and one of the errors that I cannot forgive is the fact that a mother who knows every of the movement of a child does not know when the child goes out to be with dogs, does not know when the child has become completely different in behavior. I think that is laughable, honestly. It is okay for, it is still excusable that the child goes to the club. That doesn't reflect in their behavior. It is okay that a child is badly behaved in the aspect of anger. That is excusable enough. But it is not okay that a child became a dog, a complete difference in character, and it was not shown in the house. I think that is questionable, and especially the role of Enju. She was portrayed as someone who has completely become a tout, and but still keep school, or still keep a different character when she's at home, and no choices was seen. I think that is questionable, and it makes that particular part very very questionable. I personally have issues with the directing. Honestly, I feel someone else would have done justice to the directing of this movie, especially bringing out the best out of the characters. Especially, I think it is a struggle for the director, being the director and also being the lead actress. There was a borderline between delivering a role efficiently and also delivering a role as a director, directing others. Especially the dialogues. Most of the dialogues were completely flat. There were instances, there were cases where we expected a lot more, especially in the dialogue and in the action and in the reaction, but it was completely off it, and the emotions needed the right track, needed the right message, needed to be transformed or to be translated to the audience was not there. And at every point I keep stamping my feet that this scene could have been better if the director was a different director who has the vision of bringing out the best in the actors. But in this movie, the director did extremely poor. This movie started with the fact that Oversabi Aunty was seen trying to correct people in the church, how their dressing is, how they should behave in the church. But the whole ideology of Oversabi Aunty should have been narrowed down and be expatiated, because especially it just, even the name Oversabi Aunty was not properly used in this movie. It brings me to the fact that why Oversabi, it could have been another name, in all honesty, if the ideology of the Oversabi was not properly explained. And it brings me to the fact that why, if the Oversabi was not properly explained in this movie, why then was it named Oversabi? If there is another name or another example for shouting, it should be this movie. From the beginning to the end, it was a complete rancor and disorderliness. There were unnecessary shouting and unnecessary disorderliness and discord. There could be way one could be agitated, aggravated, or be unnecessarily lousy or loud without being distorting or without being boring to the viewers. But I feel in this film it was a complete contrast, because most of the scenes were completely tiring, and one could pray that let this scene go and let's see what comes next. There were so many rancor and so many disorderliness in this film. This is not the best of Toyin yet. I would still say she's done movies that are better than this, and this story, in honesty, could have been better if it had a better director. But this film at like generally is not a recommended film, in honesty. It's not a movie that I would want to go and rewatch. It's not a movie that I would recommend to anybody if they want to enjoy the movie or have a good pay for their money. But it is not a bad movie at the end of the day, because there were a lot of scenes that had a good laugh, a lot of things that were luckily done perfectly. And when I say luckily, I would say it was perfect, because they were just lucky to make it perfect, and that was just for it. In rating aspect, over 10, I will rate this movie 3.5. I know, honestly, I think my rating is very fair. And that was it about Oversabi Aunty. Have you watched Oversabi Aunty? What is your view about it? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to like, share, comment, and click on the subscribe button if you haven't. And there's still more to come this December. Very dirty Christmas, Warlord, Colors of Fire, This Is Not Nollywood, and so many contents to come your way this season. So once again, compliment of the season, Merry Christmas in advance. See you in my next video.